This section heading is called Hadoop Daemons. So now you may recall from the beginning of the course when I said that the open source Hadoop binaries were written in Java. So now the way that Java gets executed on our system is through the use of these things that are known as JVMs, or Java Virtual Machines. So over here, I'd like you to just consider this as someone writing a Java program. So it contains class files, that's how they're writing the program, and these class files contain what is known as bytecode. So your JVM, the way that it's going to execute that program is it's going to have a class loader to load the class files, and then it's going to have an execution engine that's used to execute the bytecode in the class files, and essentially it's going to translate that bytecode into machine code, and that's how it's actually executing the instructions to the system. So now our Hadoop daemons are all going to reside within their own JVM. So when discussing how the daemons are going to communicate, they're going to communicate via unique sockets. So a socket is an IP port combination. So I'm calling these Hadoop daemons, and a daemon is another word for a server. So if we're talking about a server has a listener, which we're going to refer to as its port. Now in the next section, we're going to be setting up what is known as pseudo-distributed mode. So Hadoop can be configured for single node implementation, multi-node, and pseudo-distributed mode means single node. So that's why all of these JVMs are all residing on the same host. But the way that they're answering client requests is via the unique socket, so via the port. So what I'm having you do first here is kind of like baby steps. I just want you to see, understand the concept that, listen, this host has a particular name associated with it. And if we want to view it, we can type host name, and we can see that the host name is localhost. It's also shown on the prompt over here. Now this name can be mapped to an IP address. And what I'm having you do next is to take a look at this file that's known as the host file. So your host file is looked to for an IP to name mapping before seeking the answer from a DNS server. So if we look inside of that host file, you're going to find that the name localhost is mapped to the IP address of 127.0.0.1.